is going to be Inferno. It is going to be forZe's map pick. And Jay, I'm waiting for an absolute killer series. We saw it in the last for Ultimate Attacks as they went 2 up against Hellraisers. I'm hoping for a 3-mapper affair going into this semi-final.
Well, the interesting thing about this series is that they have got history between forZe and Endpoint, and while forZe will have some of the series victories on their side, Endpoint won the last best of 3 2-0 and beat them out on Dust 2 and Mirage. So let's find out whether they can replicate similar results here. Inferno will be a toughie, but Endpoint have won it the last time they played it as well. So a number of statistical elements going the way of the Endpoint side. As we get to our ninth round, it will be forZe picking their choices. I want to give a shout out to our partners in Gaming Malta. Gaming Malta is bringing Malta vibes to you, the home of gaming excellence here. Let's get predictions on the board here, Dweg. Then we see forZe put the CT board. I'm imagining they will win Inferno. I'm imagining that Dust 2 is going to be where this series could potentially be won or lost on for Endpoint. But where do you think this series is going to go? How do you feel about this matchup?
I'm going to go for a bit of a stab in the dark. I'm actually going to go 2-0 to the Endpoint side. And the reason for that is, yes, I mean, it was a little bit of a shock performance yesterday, but, you know, is seeing what they're able to perform in recent months, seeing what they've been able to perform in recent history between these two sides. And well, you can't really get any more even than that. 1.87 for both sides over on Loot Bets. If you want to get those odds, or at least bet on one of these teams, it's a pretty good option because, well, it's pretty close.
Of course, you can do that by going to the link below the Twitch channel. €100 on your bonus deposit as surreal gets his big bonus here on the opening frags. Flit going down first. Crucial will fall in trade, but Thomas there for a trade right back. And the T's stacking their way into the B bomb site here for the pistol round. Jerry bagged up here outside of Coffins. Robin will take the man down. XC Power coming in from the back. Surreal's going to see him and his teammates swap out. Face Crack does get a trade, but he's the last man left standing in a 1 versus 3 retake. Endpoint storming that B bomb site, trying to make a statement here for the forZe side. Good kill for him, but there's Thomas to return the favor. Pistol going the way of the CEX-sponsored camp.
And I'll tell you what, you know, jumping into the T side, I wasn't really sure what the pacing would be like to start things off for Endpoint, but that was damn quick. That was fast up towards Banana, taking early contact into the B anchors and getting some really nice opening kills. They got a great establishment around that top Banana control. They got the smokes into the B bomb site incredibly quickly. And for forZe, yeah, the rotates were quick, but they had the man disadvantage. They didn't have the numbers game in their favor. And for Endpoint, well, that's a beautiful start from them.
It is. T-side to kick things off here on their opponent's map pick. And again, Endpoint would love to take this away from forZe. I know that you said 2-0 for Endpoint, and obviously I'm going 2-1 Endpoint. I think they could potentially take it in that third map. But honestly, with how close those odds are, let that set the pace for how difficult it is to pick between these two teams. Endpoint play their defaults out to this Banana position. Mighty Max is nade up to the Coffin's position. It's going to go completely far out. Almost not going to take much damage at all. Hearing those footsteps for the moment here, it's just information gathering from the CT side.
And there's a lot of map control at the moment for Endpoint. They've established over towards Banana. They've got a bit of presence out towards the apartments. They haven't been able to find an opening kill yet, or even really any kind of a contact. But what they're waiting for is for forZe to over-aggress, show the map presence, see if they can kind of bait out the over-rotations. And at this point, Endpoint have got a lot of options. They've got a lot of utility to back them up. They can regroup out towards brackets, set themselves up for an A execution, and just leave Mighty Max to do a bit of a lurk. And that's a great start. That might even bring the T's back to the B bomb side, and that's exactly what's going to happen.
They should be able to figure out that there may be a maximum of 1 player here on the B side defensive, unless they have a stack in play. 2 players to rotate out, but the smokers are going to come in way too fast for them. Almaza could pop out, get a kill, and Mighty Max does end up falling down, so a 1-for-1 trade on the refrag. The CZ to boost up one of the Deagles here. Moving in against them, going to try and face towards the bomb plant, but the Mac 10 for Crucial needs to line up this kill, and indeed he does. Flit to fall, plant to be secured. Endpoint taking their time in this round. Now start the 4 versus 3. The retake from forZe already looking to save their weapons. You can see XC Power is out of there, and the pistols face Crack and Almas look for exit frags.
Really smart there coming out from Mighty Max, realizing the fact that he could just rotate his players over towards brackets, leave a single lurker B, and as soon as he gets a kill, well, the cavalry arrives. They all go into that B bomb site. They beat the rotators as well. That's the big thing, is we saw Almaza swinging out to find an opening kill and then coming back, but the rotates weren't there quick enough for them to go for it, and well, this is just going to be a save from forZe. A 2-0 lead coming out from the Endpoint side, but Almaza may be able to find a little bit more here, Jay. Oh,
Good kill from Almazer, drops Crucial. That's 3 frags now sustained by the CT forces. That will cause a reinvestment that will make the economy very, very low here for Endpoint. Of course, the rifle's coming out anyway, so you should expect to see a low money line coming in, but the buy up from forZe, it's going to be looking like a half buy for this moment. Endpoint going to take a tactical timeout to try and figure things from here. Very early tactical. I would have thought they would have just moved forward with this round and kind of took the economical hit on the chin.
that's incredibly surprising. I mean, we got to cast them a couple of days ago when they were in Group D, I believe it was, and they almost never used tacticals. They were, you know, very, I would say, minimal in the amount of tacticals they were using, and I think it shows some really great intent that the tacticals coming out this early. You know, they realized the importance. Okay, we're in the semi-finals. We need to be taking this round at a time. I mean, it potentially may have been a mistake as they try to go for a technical, considering we've got a game pause, but I think it's a good sign that we're seeing a pause coming out so early.
Regardless of the specifics, forZe have a moment's respite of their own right here, and Endpoint take that moment to figure things out. Hopefully we'll get some information on what specifically is going on here in the server in a moment's time. Yeah, 2-0 start for Endpoint. Certainly rocking the forZe camp. They got their choice of sides, so you would have thought the CTs would have got themselves on the right foot for the opening few rounds. But Endpoint's aggression in defaults and baiting in the aggression to counter from forZe has worked pretty well for the UK squad.
And one thing I've certainly noticed in the past from Endpoint is they establish a lot of map control on the T side of Inferno. They like to get up close and personal. They like to take the map control really quickly. A lot of the time, you won't see Mighty Max holding their players back and, you know, trying to take banana control with a minute left on the clock or 50 seconds. They like to try and take that map control early, and it allows a lot of options and keep that, you know, strat book open for deviations in terms of information coming through. And really, you look at this round, you think, right, a couple of players are able to save in from the last, not too many upgrades to follow, so this should be a relatively easy third from Endpoint. The thing that they've got to be looking at, Jay, get those, the Mac 10 to get as many kills as possible and not lose too many players.
2 players here, Boiler, and that's already going to be a casualty sustained. A follow-up casualty here to Banana. Yeah, Almazer gets Thomas to a 5 versus 3. Deagle standing by. Crucial thinks Boiler's clear, and the Deagle almost gets a double, but no. Robin and Surreal, 4 on 2 now. The nades on will take face crack out towards the pit position. Acer is open for a plant, but a 3v2 retake from here. Endpoint have really bottled this situation.
Yeah, they really have. This is going to be a very difficult post plan, considering how quick the rotates have come out from forZe. They know it's an A play, and they need to try and isolate these 2 T players, because for Robin and Surreal, they're actually quite far apart at the moment, Jay.
Tight angles held here. Flashbangs over to the short position, going to allow a peek to come through. He saw one. He knows that scout is closing in. Robin solo HP. XC checks it and shuts him down. Surreal left open here. Takes out the first frag. Going to stall for time, but the scout headshots coming in perfectly for XC. And that'll be a retake successful for forZe.
And you got to think for Endpoint there, it's almost like they gave up too many 1v1 fights. We saw Mighty Max going down out towards brackets from the boiler entrance. Then we saw Thomas going down with a great flashbang over from Banana. But from there, they had a 3-on-5. They could have just played the numbers game. They could have slowed it right down and played together. We saw Crucial just trying to run in to see if he can bring the disadvantages back in his favor. And for Endpoint, that's certainly not a round that you should be losing. And well, XE Power, he's straight on that orb.
Straight by coming through due to the eco we saw out from the CT side. AK is the Galil and the rebuy back here, and the economy state is going to be really shown in the buy up here. Obviously the damage coming in on the second round. You see the Deagle and Tech9 for Surreal and Thomas as a result. And forZe, they could potentially very easily sort of take control of the economy just off the basis of how they played the CT side so far. Like the damage coming through from Endpoint, like how much is that really going to hurt them as time goes on?
Oh, a lot. I mean, this economy is so low this early on. If forZe is able to win out this round, you know, they'll get the economy on their back. They'll be able to establish the momentum. But that's a great double peak coming out from the apartments. And that's going to be forcing forZe to aggress, to look for information, to bring it back into a 4-on-4. And if Endpoint can work together as a unit, they can siphon off these one-on-one trades.
Two players are tagged up for the CT side. A rifle has been regained by Surreal. AWP passed off to Crucial now as Split holds the AK. The double peek into the apartments working extremely well with the lack of weaponry they had. Less than 60 seconds to the clock. The CTs are very, very slow on the rotation, but they do get a third man into the passive control. The bomber Mighty Max needs to see the smoke coming through. The swing out will see him, but Mighty Max gets that kill. Face crack and Flit now. Two players left standing alone from pit, from site. One player gets isolated. Trade does not come through against Flit. He gets a double. His teammate falls though, and he's not too far behind him. Three players standing on the bomb site. Endpoint are going to storm A and most likely take a third here.
That's a really great return coming out from the Endpoint squad to be able to lose a round like that in the previous, to follow up with a round victory. And Almeza can't even consider the going for this at this point. It's a 1 versus 3. Yeah, the money line's in shatters, but holding on to the M4's got to be the best bet. And you had to think for forZe there, it seemed like they had so much utility on that CT side, but they couldn't really use it because Endpoint, they established the long control incredibly quickly. And as soon as Mighty Max and Surreal would, Crucial I should say, were trying to take that presence, we then saw the swing coming out from the apartments, and it was a beautiful establishment in terms of a crossfire. And forZe weren't really ready to use that utility they had.
Good response from Endpoint coming out here. I mean, we talk a little bit about how the economy could get affected as time goes on, especially if it keeps getting limited. But alas, limitations are going to get responded to very quickly. And that will force the awkward buyback on the forZe camp. You're seeing the AWP come out for Exi, the M4 and AUG for Flit and Almeza. But the FAMAS for Jerry, and I don't know what Face Crack has, but I can't imagine it to be amazing. Especially with a double flash. Yeah, just a 5-7 for the CT camp. So they're going to be in a very awkward spot in their own right. And get me a bit of a taste of their own medicine, I feel.
Certainly, and well, that really should have been them capitalizing on terms of the economy game, but Endpoint have just reset it again. And now you have a look at forZe. Look how deep they are into the sites. Yes, they've got a double boost coming up towards the Banana to see if they can get a bit of information from Exi Power, but they're not even trying to counter any kind of control coming in towards brackets. They're falling back. They're allowing this map control to come through. And for Endpoint, all they'll be looking for at this point is see if they can keep pushing the CTs back and get that opening advantage, take down Exi Power.
Good shot from the man, but Thomas able to trade. So that's objective 1 successful. Objective 2 is Jerry closing in with the FAMAS out. He's the only defender of the B bomb site, but Endpoint don't have the presence to storm him just yet. They're slowly making their way into Banana, and there's one player out mid that will continue to keep the presence drawn towards the A bomb site. Rotations, excuse me, are going to be long and just slow in general from the CT side. As Thomas peeks out, domes Jerry, and they're not even going to bother for this. They're so deep on A that they're just going to concede the bomb plant and concede the round.
And that's one problem. I wouldn't say it's a problem, but it's an element in Inferno that if you're running a gamble stack on the A bomb site, and if you don't have anyone that's playing Library or Arch, you don't have a quick rotator to that B bomb site. So as soon as Jerry goes down, they can't really do anything. They can't rotate over to that B bomb site. They're in a man disadvantage. They're just going to hold on to their weapons, see if they can go for the save. And well, you've got to think for Endpoint on their opponent's map pick, they've got off to a flying start, 4-1 up. They're in charge of the money game at the moment. forZe can't force the issue, so they'll probably just very light buy around these upgrades. And Endpoint have got the potential of going up 5-1, Jay.
Indeed they do, and able to follow suit off the historical T-sides that we've seen from these guys. Whenever they've taken on forZe, they tended to have the upper hand on the T-side. Getting this early start right here is certainly tipping the tides to their favor if they can keep that going. Could be seeing a very, very fun little time. AK's AWP's out of standard for Endpoint, going to keep their money building here, and it's not in the best of states, but also not in the worst. A half buy coming out from forZe with their save weapons, not going to bolster with a full-blown force up. The fast players coming out from the T side will overwhelm them as a result. Jerry tagged to 38. He's got back up in face crack, but they're both pistols out here. They haven't checked the sandbags. It's going to be a kill on the AWP, and following up, oh, the CTs are cleaning house. Bomb's been dropped 4-on-2, but the AWP ends up falling. Face crack is there to keep the trades going, and all that's left is Surreal, dealt with by Exi Power, and the pistols compound as the CTs just prove.
And that's twice now. We're really seeing Endpoint struggling against some of these half buys. And you've got to think, great intent. You know, they go up to the top banana incredibly quickly, but it was kind of, they were stuck in the middle. It was a bit of a hesitant play where they didn't really want to commit forward, but they didn't really want to fall back. And because of that, they don't check out that sandbags position. And, well, forZe, that's a beautiful round from them. That is really their opportunity to climb back in this CT half. And you've got to think for Endpoint, they've got to knuckle down on some of these half buys, Jay.
And a tactical coming through from forZe here. Got to figure something out because they have kind of been suppressed and overwhelmed by what Endpoint are bringing to the table. CT Camp have recovered a couple of AKs, obviously. A big victory in that last round could start to change the tide here. They found the momentum swing. They just have to take that moment to swing it into the following few rounds. Again, Endpoint's buy-up's going to be a little bit awkward here. The AWP in, the AK's onto a Mac 10 for Mighty Max, and surreal has a pistol. Again, limited economy states from the CT Camp as they go to their defensive. Very heavy aggression into the B banana positions. Only so far as the broken wall, though. Almaza does not want to stretch further than this.
And this is the first time we've actually seen the setup where forZe have established the control out towards banana position. They've left Almaza. He's just going to do some jump spotting, get a little bit of information. They can keep 4 players here at A. And for Endpoint, look at even the damage that's been done in terms of utility. Crucial down to 55. Thomas tagged up a little bit. And for Endpoint, they've got the map control, but they've also taken a lot of damage at the moment.
A minute to the clock. Damage sustained by Endpoint. forZe in a very good position to hold off against the execution. Sets incoming to the A bomb site this time. They've got the apartments control, brackets pushed up towards. One player back over at the banana entrance. They'll try to keep Almaza baited over, but he's just going to play contact. The main defensive force is still on A, and if Endpoint want to continue committing to this, they're going to walk into the majority of the firepower here. 30 seconds to go. When do Endpoint act? It looks like that answer is going to be right about now. Smoke's on. XE going to see that coming out towards Arch. Still looking for Thomas and Max. Flash over. Good kill on the first, seeing 2 more. And the bottom falling back, knowing that he's got the time advantage here. 15 seconds to the clock, and he still scopes in, waiting for long control. AUG burst up. Thomas goes down. And so does Robin. 2 players standing. Endpoint have lost this round at this stage. Crucial's going to save his AWP. Surreal, probably best to save his Kevlar as well. Maybe look for an exit. Fragging is going to be a bit too dangerous. And indeed, he falls out of dodge, and Endpoint concede 3.
And unfortunately for Endpoint, they just run down the clock too low. And for forZe, it gets to, what, 20 seconds when XE was able to find that opening kill out from long. From there, they just keep throwing flashes. They go, you know what, we could just keep using our utility, try and force you back. There's 2 players playing in that mini pit position on the CT side. And, well, for forZe, a great defensive being held at the A bomb side. And you've got to think for Endpoint, maybe they need to try and go back towards B, at least establishing some control, because it seems like when they go to AJ, they're getting shut down.
Mid control from XE, looking onto the mid and second mid positions. Nades up and down from Banana. Thomas with the Tech 9 desperate to get a kill, but it's just not going to work out for him, this force by. Dead to get picked apart for forZe. You're just going to expect easy stuff coming through from the rifles. The AK sat back, flip with a perfect nade. This could do so much damage to Crucial. Surreal. Incendiary to follow it up. And yeah, Surreal forced back. At least tanks it so the AWP doesn't have to, but either way, not really much for Endpoint to work with here.
And they've got to try and deal with XE power. Endpoint already down a member. They're now going to just group up, see if they can hit the A bomb site relatively quickly. It is at least a little bit quicker than the last round, but you look at the rotations in from forZe. They've got 2 players to stop the wrap in towards CT and 2 very close on the bomb site from one another.
Max on site. There goes a kill or 2 from Flip. Robin does overwhelm, but now to pick up the bomb and get it planted out in the open. A bomb plant secured here could give a little bit of a money injection that may work well enough for Endpoint. But with the force buy in check, that might still lead to awkward stances going into Round number 9. 2 kills for Robin, though. 3 picks to his name. Deagle out. Knows where the AWP is. And try for the simple fake flash. Don't do that. That never works. Not since ESO 1. But yeah, 4 on the board of forZe. Damage done by Endpoint at least. But again, that money line is not fantastic.
Oh, that's a big round from forZe, and well, for Robin, that was actually a really great attempt in the 1 versus 3. Unfortunately, if he would have had enough bullets, he would have been able to hold on to that AK, and considering he's out of bullets, he goes, let's just see if we can just try and pull a distraction and get him with the deagle. And you're right, you know, you look at the economy line coming out from Endpoint, but while we do have a little bit of a time, our fantastic partners over at Hellcase offering some fantastic codes, a Malta V15 to get a 15% refill bonus. And you've got a thing from forZe. Oh, XP got baited out by a chicken. That's pretty funny. But this should be them really taking the lead. You've got to think, Jay.
Trying to get 6 casualties to this T-side board.
Yeah.
Oh, 4 all, as you mentioned. Eco coming through. Tech9's Deagles, Kevlar on some players. A half buy at best. Around the corner. Orb shot actually missing from Exy this time. Does connect onto Robin though, and the AUG and M4 with a crossfire will lock out the kills. So 2 players left standing. Mighty Max is could have waited and baited to get to the bomb site here. Smoke down towards Cross, a simple plant. Again, extra money to be gained here by the T-side camp as Mighty Max gets overwhelmed by Exy power and by Flit on the bomb site. Again, expected result here for forZe as they take the lead away at 5-4. The rebuy is coming in from Endpoint though.
I think things are looking really good at the moment for the forZe side. This is, what, 4 rounds in a row from them. They're starting to build up their money line. The rounds that they're winning, outside of that, you know, 1 versus 3 attempt from Robin, they've been keeping sort of 2-3 players alive, building that economy, making sure they've got a bit of a bank to work with. And you even look at the buy from Endpoint, it's great across the board. Crucial's got an AWP, doesn't really have a massive amount of utility to work with. And this is aggression. We haven't seen this from forZe before.
Crucial with that first pick, secondary face, it's gonna miss against Almazer. That's a crucial shot you couldn't afford to miss. Thomas and Surreal will trade it, but look at how pushed up Flit is into the top mid area. A player coming in from Mexico as well, and he's so expecting these guys. Are they ready for this 4th shot to his position? They double peek, they take him down. And Endpoint, despite a couple of issues in the early round, they have managed a 1 versus 4 with the AWP of Exy being the last thing standing. Could isolate a 1v1 here against Surreal, and indeed he does. But from there, the T's can just push into the B bomb site, get the bomb plant, and fend off whatever Exy wants to go for here.
And for Jerry, he's got to like be banging his head across the table, because the thing is, what he called makes a lot of sense, but unfortunately just doesn't work, because the fact is they try and get Exy power to set up Flit getting very aggressive. Now, Endpoint in these last few rounds have taken banana control relatively slowly because forZe have used so much utility towards it. But what happens there is Thomas and Crucial just fly up towards banana. They're able to establish a bit of a trading ability. They open up the B bomb site. They go, right, well, we could just run into B. And for forZe, unfortunately, that round just goes so wrong off the fact that Endpoint have already established the B presence.
Not as much of a slogfest in this map as we were hoping and expecting it to be. Endpoint once again edging out forZe, but you can see the economy game has been played much better from the CT camp. The rebuy can come through, and I think a single AWP setup still come from Exy. They could have afforded the double AWP, so I'm surprised they didn't go for it here. I can't remember, was forZe a particularly proficient double AWP team, or?
Yeah, no, they don't really run it very often, honestly. Like, even in OT, you almost never see them pick it up. Sometimes Flip picks it up every now and then, or Almazer, but they don't have like a secondary AWP player. Whereas Endpoint, you know, sometimes we see Mighty Max or Surreal pick it up on maps like Dust 2 and Train on the CT side. Maybe we might see it coming out into Inferno when the economy gets a little bit stronger for them in the second half. But look at the nades coming out towards Banana. Great peek coming out. One-on-one trade, but Thomas is so low.
Jerry couldn't take him down though. That swing, taking him at 7 HP. Surreal's also on 2. Finally, Thomas does end up going down, but Crucial through the smoke. Catches face crack. He knows that Jerry is still there. He's the man that got the kill, so banana control maintained by the CTs. The AWP falling back here to watch that mid position in case they start pushing out. A minute to the clock. Endpoint playing relatively passive for this. forZe are going to swing and respond. They've got a 3 versus 3. Be careful they play this, though. Again, they're very heavily tagged up here.
And you've got to think, Surreal's got to make a choice, or they've got to make a choice within the team, whether Surreal goes first so they can bait him for the 1-on-1, or he plays further back and backs up the AWP of Crucial. But considering how low on the time it is, it has to be a B play. Robin's falling out of the apartments. There's only one player at this B bomb side, so this isn't a bad read at all coming out from the Endpoint side.
XE ready and waiting against Crucial. 20 seconds to the hit now. Low facing Surreal, going to be the bait and switch player. Sacrifices himself for the info now. They make their way up. Crucial going to face in, try and take a blind shot. Second kill for XE Power, makes it not 3. Crucial lands his 2K and gets the bomb plant now. Flit and Jerry coming in from CT spawn, and Crucial knows this. Going to scope up, check around the church position. See one man now look to the bomb site, hearing those footsteps, on for his clutch, and he gets 4 kills, 4 massive kills, with a 6th round for Endpoint.
Now, we haven't really seen Crucial coming alive so far on the T side, but man, is that a big clutch. That is so damn big, and it really helps them out to be able to secure their 6th. Just the way he isolates those one-on-ones. I love the way that Crucial, he's got the intent. A lot of players in that 1 versus 2 scenario would try and plant, maybe fall back to a deep position like a dark or new box, but instead for Crucial, he's actually looking to try and take the fight. He's actually trying to see if he can catch the CTs out of position, and that's exactly what happened. Crucial, take a bow, my friend, but he needs to follow up again, and oh, he just escapes in time.
Almaza right behind that wood box stack position. When will he face? Will Crucial catch him off? He's expecting this, but he doesn't pull the trigger. Almaza with the kill, doubling up on Thomas on that small headshot position of the wood stack. Bomb's been dropped to 5v3. I don't know if they have that info just yet. And the AWP of XE seeing more presence to the mid position. They've got a ton of information and a big 2-man advantage early on.
Well, okay. Almaza, just some raw peaks coming out of just jiggles out through the top banana control, and well, that establishes the 5-on-3, and you've got to think for Endpoint, they've got to dig deep, they've got to play as a unit, and they've got to try and open up this bomb side. They don't have the players or the time to go for any more defaults, and this is just going to be them simply executing to the B bomb side.
2 players there, 1 boost spot. Does take down a player, but Mighty Max there for a quick trade. 2 left standing for Endpoint. Molotov into the construction area. Someone's got to check new box. Robin doesn't, neither does Mighty Max, and that's a simple sequence for 4 kills for Almaza. Beautiful stuff for the initial entries, and again, that 5 versus 3 did wonders for the CT defense.
And it all comes off the back of Almaza. He does so much work at the beginning of that round, and from there, just playing really passive, you know, Flip, he was spotted out towards the boost position, and Almaza, he doesn't need a peek until, well, the timing's perfect for him, gets out, gets 4 kills in the end of the round. And wow, this is really coming to be quite a close map in this series, tied up at 6 apiece. Now, the one thing that Endpoint have struggled with in these last few rounds, Jay, is getting on top of the money game, and it's certainly not in their court at the moment.
No, it's not. And, you know, forZe, on the contrary, have been fantastic with managing their money. They've had good buys up coming through in several crucial rounds. Endpoint had some money troubles in the group stage as well, if I remember, so maybe that could be a product of the 10-day break that they had. Regardless, it is hurting them right here, right now. The pistol's out and a half by an eco, and more so for other players. Flip finds the first and the second. Jerry going to round this corner with the AK. Does actually get taken out by Thomas, but the Orp's there to respond, drop the bomb. Face crack there to support him, make sure he doesn't have to reface, but he still does anyway. And XE takes Crucial for his trouble. 1 casualty sustained by the CT side, so once again the economy can continue to build, and they have a lead above Endpoint again.
And you've got to think for the Endpoint side, this could be a good moment to maybe take a little bit of a tactical, at least maybe going into the next round, and kind of rethink things and go, right, okay, what's working for us at the moment? It seems like forZe have been able to do a lot of change-ups over towards that banana control. They're finding a lot of impact. They're finding a lot of damage. How can we start to shut that down? And they're probably looking off the back of this AWP at Crucial to just see if they can find an opening kill.
Too passive to find anything right now. Apartments positions again being sprayed through on the wallbang areas by forZe. The mid control established by XC. Scopes in against Crucial, and Crucial does find that opening frag. The slight amount of aggression towards that mid area. And now suddenly the CTs are at the disadvantage.
Unfortunately for FaceCrack, like, he can bring in a little bit of a rotation. Thomas, they can go quick B. They've been able to at least catch off the lurker over towards the B bombs, like getting aggressive. That's a lot of information now for Endpoint. They can play mind games at this point. They've got a 5-on-3. They've got a lot of map control. They've got lurkers over towards the apartments, and they're going to start hearing footsteps as soon as forZe starts to rotate off of A. They've only got a single player, Jerry, at B. Endpoint are in the perfect position to shut this round down.
Time is ticking. Jerry going to be the lone holder here. M4 smokes up, blind spray, gives up his position, does not get any frags back. Nades on, going to try and do some damage to return, force the CTs away, and that'll be successful here for Endpoint. Nothing left in this round before, so they're calling it in early. And again, just more to the point of the economy state, you know, knowing when they're at risk, players being on $50, $1,000, so keep those M4s in and you can go for another buy.
That's really smart coming out from forZe. You know, it's a 3-on-5. Even if they go for it, and let's just say they get 3 or 4 kills and they lose the round, they're not really targeting the economy much because, well, the bomb plan came through. And for Endpoint, it's going into the last round. Yes, they would struggle a bit, but it makes more sense for them to go to the save and hold on to their economy status. Well, Cyril actually might be able to find a couple of extra kills. There's no way they expect him to be. They'll be watching him, but they might not expect him.
Oh, no. They're going to be ready to shut them down. No facing from Cyril, no exit kills, unfortunately, for Endpoint, but that's fine. Again, they win the round, and they go into the last round of the half. Up against a decent buy, but with a chance to take the advantage at the turn of the T side to try and end things off on a high here for Endpoint. The M4's backed up by the AWP, and the AWP of Crucial still in play, and the AK's out with full sets of utility, so no money troubles for Endpoint at the end of this one. Full sets of utility out for forZe, once again managing their money line pretty perfectly here. First pick trying to get faced in from XE or Crucial. He falls back away from Mighty Max. They're going to hear those footsteps. Wow, that's some fast B-hopping to get out of the long challenge and back into safety for the CT side.
That was actually pretty impressive coming out from XE Power. He's got the hops. And well, for Endpoint, Thomas, he's got the frags, and he's got 2 of them. That opens up B. And again, it really seems like for Endpoint, when they're winning rounds, they're getting massive advantages.
Now try hop your way out of this one, XE. 5 versus 3. Endpoint. Thomas in particular. Decimation onto the banana position. Tanking his way straight up that area and getting the basically the man advantage from here. Probably the round at this stage. Well, actually does find a trade for him at 15 HP. Flit drops the bomb as well. Also on 12. Robin will swing out and strike. Look for FaceCrack. FaceCrack responds to a 2-on-2. Cyril needs to get this trade. It all rests on this because XE with his orb, with his massive lack of health, will leave not much breathing room for this retake here. Endpoint eventually do turn back the trades. Now let's turn back the round at the end of the half. 40 seconds for XE. He's got the double flash and molly. And of course the kit on his back here. But again, it's just so difficult. One shot from any gun will be able to secure this from here. He'll slow peek in, try look for Crucial perhaps. It might be his best and easiest kill to find. On the graveyard, back's turn, did not see a gun barrel. He does, he doesn't. No one's going to call it, and Cyril will take him down. So 8 points for Endpoint at the end of the first half.
And that's a good recovery from Endpoint. They got off to a really good lead. They were up 4-1. They let their lead slip away. But towards the end, you know, it was very back and forth between these two sides. Thomas did a great job in that last round of finding a couple of opening kills. Yes, the trades did go back in favor at one point to the CT side, but for Endpoint, you know, looking pretty comfortable at the moment on Inferno, and you've got to think that this pistol round, I would say, dictates a lot of the momentum going forward into the second half.
See the odds slightly favoring forZe at this stage, at the halfway point of the matchup. Again, if you want to get yourself involved in the Malta vibes, I'll hold that up for a second because Endpoint are going to go very quickly and get themselves involved in the pistol round. Taps up against Flit, will tag him up, try and take him down towards second mid. Damage is going to be sustained by the CTs, and they do take the first 2 casualties. Trade back for 1. XE pops up out of Mexico, gets his kill, and Mighty Max suddenly left alone. Decimation from forZe to start things off on T side, and they get the pistol on the board.
And you've just got to think, you know, those were just sloppy shots coming out from both sides. But for forZe, they had the information. As soon as those second mid players peek out and see the information, they go, right, there's got to be at least 3 players out towards mid. And from there, they can just siphon them off, work as a unit, start to just overwhelm. And well, the Glocks find some really great headshots in the end. Look at the MAC-10s upgraded. 3 MAC-10s out for the forZe side. They are looking to do damage, Jay.
Oh, but Robin responds perfectly to take out the first. Jerry, headshot on a drive-by, straight back out from the mid position. And big frag to open things up. He continues to hold that cross area alongside Crucial on the other side of brackets in the long face. Almazada gets Mighty Max back with the AK, so now they've got to get the big guns out and try and do some responses. Indeed, Exy takes Crucial back and forces them out advantage back to forZe favor.
And this is really great position now for forZe. Yes, they get re-smoked towards the top of Banana, but they've got the man advantage, and, well, there's pretty much no U2 at the moment for this Endpoint side, so they can just run down the clock, play the mind games, have a bit of a lurk coming out here from Flit towards the apartment, see if he can sell some sort of a fake, and, well, for Endpoint, Jay, it looks like it's going to be a gamble stack to the A bomb site, and for forZe, well, they're setting themselves up for B.
Oh, I wasn't sure what they were doing right there. Thomas was going to shut down Flip regardless, though, and realized with the utility coming in now, this is definitely going to be a B play. Can this Deagle do anything against them here? He'll be completely blind. Molotovs coming in are going to get extinguished by the flame. Scout shots from Robin also completely blind. Checking out the boost position. And XC, Almas are actually going for the bomb plant. Thomas, can he take him down? No, we'll tag him, but not take the frag. Robin, in the meantime, does end up falling. So it's just these pistols out on the force buy for Endpoint. And they look like they want to save their Kevlar above all else. A 9th for forZe as they get things started off on the right foot.
And that's the Russian side being able to take the lead now on their own map pick. 9-8 up. And for Endpoint, they're just trying to opt to go for the save. Maybe see if they can throw that scout over to Robin or Crucial if they want to take it. Allow Thomas to hold on to the couple of Deagles that they had saved in. So we're not quite going to see a rifle round coming up for the Endpoint side just quite yet. It's going to take a little bit more of a couple more rounds. And you've got to think for forZe, you know, maybe upgrade another MAC-10. This is an opportunity to really start to build up the money line. They know that they're not going to force the issue again.
Just the 2 MAC-10s coming out from forZe. AK's on 3. Scout out again for Crucial, looking for that first drive-by kill. Once again, on a good spawn against the T side line, but unable to see anything. He falls quickly out of that mid position. Surreal spotted also in the apartment, so info gathering right now for the forZe camp. Looking onwards to the B bomb site again for the main rifles. Looks like a fast smoke play out from the T side. The flashes also go over, but no early execution from forZe. They haven't got the bombs. They can't really justify it.
And Endpoint, at the moment, you know, considering how passive they are at the bomb sites, they don't really have a lot of information of what's going on. So the best thing that they can do is just gamble sack, see if they can play as a unit. That's why they're bringing a 3rd player over to this B bomb site. But you've got to think for forZe, even with the amount of players here from the City side, this should just be a clean up. So many mollies coming out.
Thomas takes Mighty Max, 5 on 4. Good deal from Thomas in the backline, doing a ton of damage. This sets up the pistols for glory here, but Robin giving away his position rather than waiting to strike. That means Jerry can secure a bomb plot, no qualms about it. Oh! Crucial through the smoke, finds Flit's head and continues to fire away, hoping to get something. Robin gets Exy back over at the second box. Now Jerry and Facecrack, very low HP. This is doable for Endpoint. The AK swings, the spray is good to do damage to Crucial. No frag against him. MAC-10 making his way around against Robin. He takes out Facecrack. Jerry gets a kill, but Robin finishes off the job. 3 picks to the man. And a 9th on the board for Endpoint. The ecos and the upgrade pistols work stunningly well.
And just when you think that Endpoint have lost to, what, 2 half-bar/eco rounds in the first half, forZe hadn't at all, and now they've just lost to their first, and they've got to force the issue here. Man, that's a big round to win from Endpoint. This shot from Crucial. The lineup, man. Oh, sweet as.
I feel like that headshot turned it all around because from there, like, it all just fell to pieces for the post plant. Like, I'm not sure if you call that luck, good prediction, or skill, or what have you. But either way, it is going to be a round for Endpoint. Back out the AWPs here for Crucial. Back in on the buy in general. Check out the buy in general from Endpoint. Compare it to what forZe have, and you can see what that's going to do for their own economy state. They've had economy worries all game so far. And FaZe Crank tanks that nade to the face. 58 HP for the MAC-10, so it's not the worst damage dealer in the world. Looking like they're going to continue with their out of the apartment strategy here. The AK of Robin lets one player pass. He's right there on the balcony. FaZe Crank will trade him for a good $600 frag, but now surreal on site. Crucial there towards long. surreal gets himself a kill, but does get overwhelmed by knowing exactly where he was. The AWP of Crucial still there to strike, though. Takes out Exi, leaving Flit alone in a 1 versus 3 now. Max and Thomas rotating into position. Max in particular in the backlines. He's got the bomb control, so there's no way left in for Flit. He's on the bomb site. He's going to get pinned out. Probably as the smoke clears, they'll see him. They'll tap him up. Max almost goes down. That's a bit of an awkward exchange. CT's now in position. Crucial's also tagged pretty low, actually.
Oh my goodness.
Thomas goes down. AK's picked up. Flick could do this. Flick could seriously do this. 4K up for the man. Flashing and checking. 40 seconds left. They have to hold passive, but even if he challenges them, he's at a major advantage, but Crucial holds the line and holds the kill.
Oh my goodness, I was so nervous. I was so damn nervous from Endpoint because that really looked like it was going to go the way of Flit there. He did so much damage to take Mighty Max and Crucial just so low, and then to take down Thomas. But you got to think there for forZe, they try and go for the app spot, but unfortunately, the HE did a lot of damage to start things off. The molly was perfectly timed from Robin. Yeah, he didn't get the best of vision and the best of kills in the apartments, but the damage that was done, the quick trades that come out, and that's Endpoint taking the lead. This could be them going up 11 rounds. They're in a great position at the moment. They've got so much momentum. And surreal's getting a little bit of information.
Nade on from Robin. Sees one player crossing, takes damage, but returns some more. Nade's coming out, trying to time it well against the apartment's control. Again, another fast play coming out here. The flashbang keep the CTs blind, and Robin does get overwhelmed. So Will drops that bomb, sees the player on site. He gets XE power for his trouble, making it a 3K against Flip, but face crack there in pit. And Jerry towards long gets it to a 2 versus 2. So again, forZe with very little doing a lot of damage, and a plan to be secured to bolster their economy for a decent buy here. M4 to get another kill, potentially 2. He sees them both. But flashbang keeps him blind and forces him to fall back here. You might have to concede the plant and the round here. The defuse should come through for Endpoint. Smokes on, Molotov's down, and yeah, they're sticking it. He can't get there in time. He'll make his way into the apartments, spray through, not on the right position. Thomas is going to get away with it. And there you go, as you say, 11 on the board for Endpoint. forZe, they're getting a bomb plant out of this, a free rifle. It's going to be a buy.
Now, you know what I'm actually thinking about in the back of my mind is that Jerry might be thinking, you know what, let's fake an apps pop. We've done it 2 times now where we've been able to get some pretty good entries. If they fake an apps pop, they could probably force a lot of rotations out from that B bomb side. Now there's playing into the mind games. Jerry's saying, okay, yeah, we had weaknesses and we lost rounds, but where were the positives and how can we go forward? Because you've got to think for forZe, it is vital that they win out this gun round because that would be able to get them back in the game and closing this scoreline. Even Crucial, he's looking for information. So aggressive at the moment in through apartments.
He may get a kill for trouble leg shot on Flit, and that costs him his life. 5-on-4 scenario, and they're so close to wall banging him out. surreal. You got that spraying a little bit further to the right-hand side. That probably could have killed off Flit. Smokes down utility coming into the A bomb site. It's still just brackets control established for forZe. They aren't going to commit just yet. Very carefully at this moment here.
And Endpoint, at this point, like, they've got a couple of options. They can either play really passive in the side, or they can try and fight for information. They're actually gamble stacking this A bomb site, Jay, in a 4-on-5. They've got absolutely no one to be. This is a complete gamble.
And with Flare getting a kill on surreal, it's going to keep it going to their favor. The AWP does get traded, but their gambles may have worked, and they're going to rotate at the wrong moment. Smokes down. Max going to lose against Almaza. Robin is suddenly last man standing. Up into the box corner. Thomas is there to back him up. But if he goes down, they've got easy access to B once again. And even if he doesn't, they can rotate back towards Banana. And that's exactly what they're going to do. forZe have played Endpoint like a fiddle in this tactical game. And this should be 10 to the T-side board.
And Endpoint, they just have to save. They realise the fact that their money line's not great at the moment. It's a free bomb site up for forZe, and I'm not sure if I like that call coming out from Mighty Max to just gamble stack that A bomb site. It seemed like it was a very high risk, kind of medium reward play for my liking. Like, I can certainly understand in a man disadvantage, you want to be able to play as a unit and see if you can turn it back. But the fact that they left no one at B, and then I'm not sure what the comms were, but then Surreal just started trying to run towards long from the pit position. It was an easy shot to come out from Flit. It seemed like there was a lot of miscommunication in that last round for Endpoint.
Absolutely. Things went very wrong very quickly. Ten to the T-side board. Again, forZe are able to overwhelm and outplay Endpoint very quickly here, so a good efforts from Endpoint to get themselves 2 rounds in the lead. Any further than this, however, could be even more magical, again, to try and limit the loss bonus stance here of the T-side. AWP's, of course, coming in with the M4s. Bullet down, AK saved by Thomas, and MP9 for Mighty Max. Could throw them off a little bit. A Deagle for Surreal might throw them off even a little bit more here, so the setup really is not that good from the Endpoint camp.
A couple of great nades actually coming out from Flit there, of the long smoke and porch molly. And you talk about this MP9 of Mighty Max. He wants to try and get flashed into the banana position. He sees a lot of information. He can recall that over to his teammates of he saw at least 2 or 3 players towards banana. But look at the damage he's taken for that information play.
Smokes on from Thomas here, going to keep them away from B site for the moment, but it looks like forZe are going to commit through this in a moment anyway. Face Crack and Jerry ready for aggression, falling back to position. Back to the first box here with a boost-up player and a 3rd man on site. 55 seconds and the utility starts pouring in. Cindier is back to the back line. Thomas going to try and play off this. Mighty Max is so low, and now Robin is the first casualty of the defense. Max is desperately looking for a way in. If he can get even 1 kill from here, which he could find on Almazar. No, face crack swings. Surreal burns 1. Thomas going to sustain the damage, take a secondary kill. Jerry trades it back to 3 versus 2 and 1. And Crucial left alone to save his weapon. There's no way back.
And Endpoint, they were set up really nicely towards that B bomb site. They had 3 players there. They were establishing crossfire back towards CT. But the fact is, from forZe, just so sharp on those entry kills. And one thing in particular that I've noticed in this map, Jay, between these 2 sides is we haven't really ever seen like a long streak of rounds for either team. At most, we have only seen 4 rounds at one point. It's been back and forward, a team winning 2 rounds, then another reset, then 3 rounds at a reset. It's never been a consistent streak of rounds for either team. And that's what's made this whole game, especially in the second half, just go so back and forward in terms of the economy, because for both teams, they've never really been able to build up the bank.
Especially in the second half, forZe had great economical management in the first one. Now, not the same could be said. Have got a decent buy coming up here, and the money is starting to build now. Maybe their fortunes could change. 11 all should be seeing an eco come out from Endpoint here. Just that AWP being saved. No Kevlar, no utility investment. I didn't see any pistols get brought down either, so okay, maybe a couple pistols in the CZ and the P250. A boost up from Crucial, seeing 1 player up towards mid, but again, can't quite find that kill. Can't quite find the opening. Surreal and Crucial continuing to aggress though. They want to get that first pick on the board, but as aggressive as they want to get towards A and B, they're very passive, and this is a free bomb site and a bomb plant for forZe.
This looks to be a pretty easy round. You can certainly think for the forZe camp, they don't need to hunt. They'll know that the money line is in struggles for this Endpoint side. Oh, that takes down the AWP. That's so big because they won't have enough money to invest it in the following round, Jay.
Second kill from Face Crack there. No chance for a recovery, it seems. One player on the A bomb side dealt with by Flit on a consistent lurk, and on the B bomb side, they overwhelm everything. All 5 alive. And forZe take the lead from the Endpoint camp. Again, that eco is mostly to buy into this round, and as you mentioned, they can't reinvest into the AWP. I mean, they can't even invest into full rifles here. They have to concede the 2 SMGs on Max and Thomas. M4's out for the other 3, which is going to have to do most of the damage. And if they lose this round, then they're going to be in deep trouble.
Hey, you've got to think for Endpoint, they lose this round, they're pretty much done, I would say, in this first map of Inferno. And forZe are starting to gain a lot of momentum at the moment. In towards Banana, pretty aggressively out for the T side, not a lot of utility for Endpoint. Hardly anything is being used to Banana at this point, Jay.
Oh, Molotov's burning on XE. Endpoint will do early damage. They won't know about that just yet. Information gained, double nades. Oh, XE saw that coming. He just gets out of dodge. But Thomas gets him and Almaza for the first 2 picks of the CT side. There is going to be a trade from XE. As Thomas gets away alive on 3 HP, they've done the damage, setting up the rifles now for glory.
And you've got to think for Thomas, he's done such a great job so far. He gets 2 massive kills. Yes, he's so low, so it's going to be difficult for him to kind of help his teammate of Crucial. Actually going to boost Thomas up towards the second Oranges position. And for forZe, they're not worried about default or anything. This is back to the execution over at this B bomb site.
Nades on against Crucial, 83 HP. Flit taking Thomas with a Molotov kill. It just placed right in that case. Flashes over Crucial's out in the open, drops Sherry, spray traps for the second, not quite the third. Flit on 6 points of health though. He needs a good kill, one of these players on contact. They could line up for him, he times it well. Flag Flit! Evades it all and gets a 4K, a beautiful play, a beautiful 13th for forZe.
Oh, you hate to see it. You absolutely hate to see it. But Flit, oh, I mean, the timing, the positioning, the crosshair placement, everything was on point there. Endpoint there in a 2-on-1. The flashbang comes over. And let's just have a look at this again. Oh, that's what I'm talking about. Oh, that's heartbreaking. That is absolutely heartbreaking.
It went too deep. That's the problem with that flashbang. If it had gone a little bit higher, a little bit further forward,
he would have full blind.
Yeah, he couldn't have hit that. Unbelievable. It's so unlucky for Endpoint is the worst part about it. They're going to look at that later and just think, what if? Just what if we placed that one flash a little bit differently?
Oh, man. And that sucks for Endpoint because, well, that was their opportunity in the 2-on-1 to really claw back these rounds. Now forZe are up 13-11. And you've just got to think, you look at this buy from Endpoint and you go, there's no way they can win it. There's absolutely no way that they should win it. And I tell you what, forZe are loving this B bomb site. They set themselves up for a lot of executions in this second half over at the B bomb site. And that's one thing that you can certainly notice from a team like forZe is they're a team that are very heavy in terms of set pieces rather than a team that will default over and over again. They'll default for the beginning of the round and then they'll just set themselves up.
Smokes down, UMP and Deagle out, and Mighty Max actually does get a kill to open things up on the CT defensive. Getting out of dodge. Still pushing forward here for Almaza. He swings, takes him. Thomas with a trade back on the boost. Mighty Max swings in and Jerry gets him down. So a 3 versus 3 situation. And Smokes on towards the cross. XE seeing the man. The bomb plot will still be received. Thomas low. Robin Surreal on 100, but Deagle and P250, and only one player has Kevlar. Not even Surreal able to rotate here in time. The CTs are suppressed, and now XE gets that kill. Looks in on Robin's position, but forces him back just by the sheer presence of the AWP. An Endpoint running out of time. This retake, it just shouldn't happen.
Yeah, it certainly shouldn't. Endpoint, I mean, they can kind of go for it. They'll have enough money to buy into the next round, so it's not like they're wasting anything. I suppose you've got the Kevlar on the back of Robin. But just try to do some damage to this T side. See if they can limit the T economy. Can be great. Well, they're going to try and do the best that they can. But 2 players are going to survive from the forZe side just from that bomb radius. And 14-11. forZe are getting closer and closer to converting their map pick in this best of 3 in the semi-final.
3 rounds for Endpoint to get back into contention and try and equalize against that forZe side. Obviously, still 2 away from forZe, and if they take this next round, then they basically won this map here. Like, Endpoint are going to be on a force back to try to get to OT. The money will not be there for the CT camp. Seen so few out of force buy and eco victories, and look at the very heavy play. Loads of damage done. Crucial gets that first pick. He's overwhelmed by Jerry. Incendiary back. Robin seeing them rush straight out, gets a kill back of his own right, and forZe putting everything behind what is almost a rush play from this T-side camp. FaZe moving in. The bomb is isolated from his backup. If Mighty Max peeks in and gets this kill, or if someone finds him at the cubby area, then this could end up being disastrous for the T-side. He's 45 HP, tempting a FaZe, will re-smoke, and smartly so.
FaZe's in a really awkward position at the moment because he doesn't really have any help. Finally, XE Power is going to be able to round the corner out from long to give a little bit of assistance. And Robin, he's just stuck in the open at this point. He's been seen, but he takes down that bomb. Robin with a great hold so far at this A bomb side, but he's out of bullets, Jay. He's trying to reload. And will XE Power 1 versus 3 from him. And you've got to think with bomb in control of the CT side, this should not be winnable.
Mighty Max supporting his teammate, keeping them alive, keeping the A site protected, and now the AWP is left alone with not much that he can do. Checking out Graveyard, looking towards the A site. And the bomb dropped in the open, 35 seconds for him. And Endpoint looked to secure a fast one here. Big shot missed by him, and that's going to basically be it from here. There's no way left. He's got to save his weapon. He's got money in the bank, but just not to concede it back to the CT forces. And there's an AWP already dropped for them, so, you know, needs most, but just to keep those weapons away from the CT camp, the best play for them here.
Okay, Endpoint. Finally, they find some success in this second half. It's been 5 rounds in a row for forZe. And this is what Endpoint need, just holding on at the moment, not finding it easy at all. And that was incredibly quick. That was one of the quickest rounds we've seen from forZe yet. It really was like a rush. They took so quickly out towards long. Crucial found that opening. Robin does a great job of defending that A bomb site. And maybe for forZe, they need to go back to what has worked for them in the past. Taking that banana control, establishing a lurk from Flit out towards the apartments, and executing to the B bomb site. Keep it simple, keep it smart, and keep it in your favor.
The rebuy for forZe will now force them onto a very awkward stance in the money line. Endpoint could be on the verge of taking the lead, potentially even standings on the board. Nades down, AWPs up. XE's hoping to find something here. Base crack. AK making his way downstairs. Smokes on. Incendiary is to be responded to by the T side. Pushing 2 pace of the utility out towards both of the bottom sides at the same time. The CTs don't know where they're going, but forZe haven't committed fully.
Slowing this down. XE just seeing if he can find a little bit of information over towards this banana position. And kits across the board for the CT side. Buying pretty much everything into this. A lot of control coming out from forZe. They've taken banana, they've established the brackets control, they've forced Endpoint very passive in this A bomb site. But for the T's, it's back to the B bomb site. We've seen this time and time again from forZe, and for the read coming out from Endpoint, they're going to rotate Surreal over to have a 3-man stack over at B.
Smokes up, 3rd player pushing in, aggressive for Surreal. He can't take any kills or damage. 1 player pops out though, face crack seen, nade onto his position. Oh, 5 HP, barely stays alive, but not for much longer. Surreal and Thomas meanwhile are cleaning up the rounds. XE will find a frag back. Surreal peeks in from coffins, knows exactly where Flit is. 2 kills for him. Bomb drops in the open as he gets a 3rd frag with 13 seconds to get the plant down on first now. Robin peeking up, Flit takes a challenge and a spray and a clutch for the man. forZe shouldn't have won that, but Endpoint gave them all the 1v1s, and it's map point for the Russians.
And it's Flit again, man. We saw that 1 versus 2 with the AWP. This time around, he's alone at B. It's a 1-on-4 coming out from Flit, and they just give up easy 1-on-1 faces. Crucial so far out of position. He needed to wait for Robin to back him up. Why he's standing in the open like that, I don't know. And for Flit, he gets a fantastic spray transfer on the 2 players on site, and from there, that is a clutch coming through, and Endpoint giving up man advantages in clutch scenarios. They cannot let that happen.
And it may have thrown their chances of winning this map down the toilet. Deagle and UMP to highlight the buy with the rifles in check. Endpoint need to come up huge with these main weapons. You can see the contact plays are coming in from Robin. Robin here on the balcony. The Deagle standing. Needs to get this first kill, and fortunately, he does manage to do so here. AK drop for him. He can get that. That's a 5 versus 3 at least. Trades are still susceptible here for the T-side camp. And a minute to go. M4 peeking in, catching off XC, trying to take Jerry down, but the aggressive face ends up with Crucial losing his life. Flashes in, Thomas still holding. They are heavily tagged up, and they're going to rotate into the clutches of Mighty Max. This AWP here could do so much for him. Standing by towards Cross, Almaza first facer as soon as Max gets his first kill. Oh, the timing couldn't be worse. He backs up, the T-side is storming through. Flash in, he's going to get himself the cover. Scope in, doesn't catch the first player. Repicks, does get Almaza though. Drops that bomb, nades on site, takes him down. Plant to be secured in the 3v2 retake.
Oh, forZe, can they hold it off once again? The bomb doesn't even get planted. Oh, it just does in time. And now Jerry, the in-game leader, needs to try and step up in this clutch. Can he bring it out? He can't. Endpoint pushing through the smoke together as a 2-man unit. And you've got to think, even for Mighty Max, even with the timing towards the top of Banana around that broken wall position, the fact that he falls back in time, gets a kills, those rotates came in so damn quickly off the back of information. And Endpoint, they're just holding on. 13 rounds to name.
Skin of their teeth. 2 rounds to go. Try to get to overtime against forZe. 15-13. And the AKs, the AWPs, coming out for the T side once again.
It's a force.
The AKs.
Like, they've got 2 Tech 9s. I don't know why they're not just half buying for the last round of the game. This is
try
just
to win it out. I don't really know what they're going for here. Like, this is a very weird buy. All I know is that they've got a similar kind of buy to what Endpoint did, and to their credit, Endpoint kind of made it work in the last round.
forZe, this time around, they're actually not taking banana control. So if Endpoint use their utility right, they can actually rotate 4 players over to A and get someone aggressive like Thomas with that MP or with that UMP. forZe pushing the A bomb side players, very passive at the moment. A little bit of damage done to Jerry, not so much. And there it is. That's the aggression coming out from Banana that I was waiting to see from Endpoint.
Pushing aggressive, rotating that 4th player back to A's. That's where forZe were going to set themselves up for. Incendio from Crucial responding to the smoke that will go down. He'll push his AWP ahead of it as well. Look for hard cover at the archway. Nades on, damage sustained. A flick goes better, however, for the AWP. The M4 standing. Surreal's going to spray blind through the smoke. Get Almaza as he sees the traces and knows where the player is. Him and Crucial are on 18 and 16 points of health. And the AK of Robin waiting. Timing is so poor for Endpoint, but he can still re-peek and get himself positioned. Crucial with the AWP shuts down Jerry. Looks for the next man of XC power. 3 kills to his name. And Flit left alone standing a 1 versus 5. He's out of the round.
And if he doesn't get a bomb plant, then forZe have got no money going into the last rounds of regulation. You've got to think that we're going to go into OT here for the forZe versus Endpoint game of this first map at the best of 3. And I tell you what, Jay, we have seen a lot of overtimes across the group stage in Malta Vibes, and we could certainly be going to one again. Look at the money for forZe. $2,000. What can they buy with that?
Well, I mean, you highlighted that money line in the force buy in the last round for a reason, and this is why it didn't work for forZe. Therefore, they are on a very, very awkward stance and a tactical pause as appropriate because, hey, they need to figure out how on the hell they're going to be able to bring this over the line at 16-14. It's still possible, but with the force buy, we're looking at, like, you know, a very sort of... How do I describe this? A very sort of, like, you know, awkward stance and very lower potential against the firepower, I think, of the Endpoint side.
It's going to be a difficult round, and you've got to think, you've got those Tech 9s out to back up with a single AK from Flit. It's probably going to be something pretty aggressive. They need to get up close and personal. They need to even try and recover a rifle. If they're able to, you know, take a one-on-one Angel, pick up an M4 or pick up an AK from that CT side, that's what they'll be looking for. And for Endpoint's sake, one more round will take us to OT. And for forZe, right here, right now, they can be the victors at 16-14. Let's see what the forSpy's got to offer.
Set up here to the banana position. A lot of presence from the CTs and the T side as well. I mean, they aren't really aggressing towards anywhere, so they could be going to mid, but either way, just being met on the full force of Endpoint. Mighty Max will aggress. See nothing fall back. The LWP of Crucial also get forced off by the flashes coming through. Ready for first players around this corner. They're going to go for a boost up here. This AWP could be in trouble if it does. Around that corner, lands a tag. M4 and Mighty Max overwhelmed by face crack. This could be the start of the end. With the AK of Thomas here with the crossfire, and the T's get that pick. They fall out of position.
Double pump. They're faking that they're actually leaving Banana, but they're actually going to continue. And you've got to think this AWP needs to be impactful. They need to get that re-smoke down in time. They don't have any mollies, but they've got 2 smokes to work with on the CT side.
AWP standing by. Armor's a first out. Big miss on the AWP. AK needs to go massive. He gets himself 3 kills. And XC gets the trade. 2-on-2. Thomas has bought his teammates a chance. It's Robin and Surreal. Last 2 players left on the bomb site. 1 player close, 1 player back. And face crack here with the old grill position. Standing by, AWP in, seeing one. Let us tracers out here to the cross, seeing the shoulder bait. XC lands it, Surreal trades and doubles up and gets the 15th for Endpoint. We're going to overtime again.
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Overtime once again in the Malta vibes. Massive clutch coming out from Surreal, but you've got to think it's Thomas that brings that round back. The fact that he gets 3 kills, if he would have got 2, Jay, I don't think that retake would have been possible. That was a lineup on the...
That was a double headshot collateral on the last bullet of his spray.
Unreal.
That one play turned the whole thing around for Endpoint. Oh no, oh my goodness. Wow, call it lucky or call it skilled again. 15-15, we're in overtime. That is the bottom line of this. Endpoint have worked real hard to get to this position. It could have been disastrous at the last hurdle though. forZe fighting for their map pick here, Dweg. A lot of pressure could be applied, and again, Endpoint have managed to beat forZe on Inferno before. Back then, it was a 16-7 back in Home Sweet Home Cup number 7, about a month ago, a little over that. But going this far in the distance, forZe certainly looking to try and make sure history does not repeat itself.
And you've got to think, absolutely, you know, the pressure's certainly on the back of this forZe camp. You know, you get the mind games of, oh, what's happened in the past. This is their map pick. We're going to OT. And I don't want to say they'll be on, like, tilt factor, but there can certainly be some moments where, you know, players can maybe have a couple of arguments towards the end there. Oh, you know, if we would have done this, we would have, you know, been able to win that round, blah, blah, blah. But you've got to think going into overtime, you know, Endpoint, they're hyped up. They've had, I would say, not many clutch opportunities. I mean, you have a look for Flit, right? He wins a 1 versus 2 with that AWP. He wins a 1 versus 4 with that AK. For Endpoint's sake, they're thinking, if we just would have won those rounds, we'd probably win this game. So in their sense, they're probably feeling pretty positive to say that forZe just got to OT.
MR3, 16K. And the odds,
Endpoint.
wow. Okay. I was not expecting that. I believe that this was going to be still dead set even going into this overtime. They were completely evened out odds. But Loopet favor Endpoint. Do you favor Endpoint in this one, Dweg?
I certainly do. I've seen some really great stuff from them in the gun rounds. You've got to think as well how many rounds they lost in terms of half buys and ecos. We're not going to see that coming out, but what we will see is Crucial going down while the AWP of XE Power is going to strike onto the first.
Big stuff out from the forZe camp to kick things off. Crucial down. Surreal picks up the AWP's mantle. Incendiary's coming in. Thomas And Max push up, nades on towards the wood stack. Damage has been done to several T-side players. They could end up falling.
Ooh.
Max does get a double, a triple. And Thomas, still having utility of his own right, he'll fall back to hold a passive position. And in a few bullets for the HG, they've turned it to a 3 versus 2.
And Mighty Max only found 11 kills at the end of regulation, and you've got to think that's the biggest round we've seen from him yet. 3 incredible kills off the fact that forZe won the opening man advantage, and FaceCrack's so damn low. They could shut this down all just down to surreal and Thomas.
Surreal going to take that first contact with the AWP facing against the flashbangs. They're still coming forward. Thomas is blind off, still blind spray, takes out the bomb planter, and Surreal supports him on Flit. So nicely done from those 2 players on the B side defensive. But again, as you mentioned, a big round from Mighty Max. Very awkward scenarios coming through from him with that wall bang, the nade on, and the tap to the 3rd player. But it is still going to be a 16th for Endpoint regardless. Going to take the lead here in this overtime.
And for Endpoint, they haven't really used too many tacticals. So if they, things start going awry from them, or they start finding a lot of success, we could see certainly a tactical pause coming out. Aggression coming out from XCPower. Now, we spoke about his hops a little bit earlier on in the series. He is very aggressive at the moment on the T side.
Once again, looking for the opening frags at a very common T-side angle, when you consider his aggression at the very least. Jerry, on the opposite end, going to be more passive. It's Thomas, the man that gets aggressive, and he makes it work. Swinging past the smoke, opening things up with the headshot as the rest of the T start to act. They're going to be without their main support man.
And this shuts this whole round down. It makes it really awkward now for the forZe side to get back into this. There's so many players here from Endpoint over at this A bomb site. They're rotating a 4th player over. And for forZe, you have to think, considering that Jerry went down, they can't rotate back towards Banana. They can try and potentially split him through CT.
50 seconds to the hit here. Max is going to fall back passive, expecting to be the next rotator out to the bomb site. They're expecting an A-site play, and they'd be right to assume this. Smokes on, nades to the back of Pit. 2 players on site, crucial. 3 players all in all here to the defensive. Surreal will end up falling down. Thomas still here towards the long position, waiting for Almanza. Takes him out of the action with Crucial dropping face crack. Suddenly it's Flit on 7 and FlexiPower on 97. 4 versus 2, 20 seconds standing. Crucial putting another smoke down to try and stall them, and still gets the blind shot through the smoke. Flit can return, but 2 kills on for the ace. 10 seconds, and again, such low HP. Thomas closing in from the graveyard area. We'll see the man quickly take him down, and 17 goes to the board of Endpoint.
Now, I can't do a Russian accent, but I can imagine Jerry being like, these damn Brits, what are they doing? Like, why is Thomas pushing the bottom of Banana with no support? He's got no flash, he's got no teammates to back him up, and it's just like, what? Like, it makes no sense why Thomas does that, and it catches Jerry completely off guard. They get the opening advantage, they stack the players into that A bomb side, and Endpoint have won 2 in a row. You take into account the back end of the rounds in that second half, this is now 5 in a row from Endpoint.
It may look to be 6 for a map point to their favor. Look at how aggressive Surreal's going to get, but he gets punished for it. Almanza was ready for this. Nade standing by for Robin. It doesn't do as much damage against the T-side as he would have liked. Minute and 30 to the clock, and already it's a forZe advantage, but they're not going to go rushing in off the back of it. Going to play very carefully around their stances. Go for the smokes up, face crack, flashed in, takes 1 man down. AWP crucial on site. Can't land his bullets, can't land the player in mini pit. Looking towards the gap pit. The nades on towards him, does manage to land on face crack. Looking for a second at point blank. Thomas falls. Oh, Crucial gets a 3rd. Not quite the 4th. XC, 2 kills to clutch this match with 2 kills of his own. 1 versus 1 for the 18th and 16th.
And it all just comes down to mind games. All down to mind games now. XCPower, he's actually going to plant safe into the site. Mighty Max, he knows exactly where he is.
XC swung in, has no idea, but he evades the damage, sprays through, trying to get that headshot in the incendiary to force him out. Mighty Max, does he know he's here on the box? Does he know that he's here to the corner? Bomb plant inside said corner, flashbang over. Max needs to make his way in relatively quickly. He's got the defuse kit in play, but time is ticking away. He's got a HP disadvantage as well, as XC utilizes that to his favor, gets 2 taps to the chest, and he gets 16 on the board for forZe.
Oh, and you've got to feel for Endpoint. Crucial did so much work on the site. He missed a couple of early shots, but he recovers in the best of fashions. And unfortunately, the support's just not there. A massive clutch coming out from Power in the 1-on-2. And honestly, it just came down to mind games. They both knew exactly where each other were. Oh, forZe. They just hold on with one round. And the odds, what? I don't know what's going on here, Jay. The odds just keep going back and forward. Endpoint aren't the favourites now.
Something tells me the API is broken again. I'm not going to lie. I mean, I'm probably wrong on that respect. I have no insights into that, but just with Endpoint being in the lead on forZe's map pick in overtime, I don't think it would be that one-sided, but, you know, maybe I'm just not... I mean, I haven't done betting in a long time, so, you know, that's not my thing. Orbs in between Crucial and Power. AKs, M4s. And passive again from the T side. Endpoint this time on the T side, playing carefully around the setup that forZe have.
Great utility coming out from Endpoint, and Power's actually got a really nice line in towards Boiler. This could be the opening kill that forZe are looking for. I say that, and actually Surreal, that was just a wide swing out from the apartments. That finds the opener, and now you've got to think all the pressure's on the back of forZe. They don't really have a lot of information. Almaze is low. Power's taken a little bit of damage. They need to turn this back into a 4-on-4, and we might see some aggression for it.
Almaze does find a response on Thomas, at least into Banana. He ends up going down. The rest of the T stack up towards the A site play. You got Exy with the AWP in the back line, very similar positioning to Crucial. Got Face Crack inside the corner. Flashes in. Do they see Exy? They don't. The second flash keeps the man in the apartments blind. Goes up against Surreal, expecting him to be coming out sometime soon. 20 seconds, missing the flick, overcooking it. Flash is on site, damage done to the AWP in the backline. The M4 still here, though. The flash timed well. Surreal does overwhelm. Exy still here, trying to frag away, and Almaza coming in to support. Exy's last man standing, taking out one. Looks for Mighty Mac. Oh! The AK just about secures the frag. A bit of hesitation from the AWP there, and it costs forZe in whole.
Oh man, Mighty Max, he had to rush it because there was just no time to work with. He needed to get up close and personal. And again, Mighty Max, he is, especially in OT, making some very impactful plays. And you've got to think from forZe, they've got to win 2 in a row just to get to OT. Endpoint, they've got so much momentum. They've got the hype. One more round will do it for the UK squad.
Straight in for Exy. Oh, a blind shot on Crucial. Big way to start. Quick flicks, getting the hell out of dodge and doing damage to Surreal. That could have been so risky from his part, but the utility keeping everybody blind, and somehow the CTs are the ones that come out on top. Endpoint, quick to respond and rotate to brackets, rotate to the A site. 3 players there on the defensive for forZe, and Endpoint are forced to slow down.
And they're just waiting for an over-aggression coming out from forZe. But considering the fact that the Russian team have got a 5-on-4, you don't really expect that they're going to, look for anything more aggressive. They can just play very deep into the sites, play the numbers game. And for Endpoint, it has to be an A commitment.
Smokes down from various choke points to try and ensure that Endpoint don't make their way up. Molotov in, Thomas is seen, but he evades the damage done by Face Crack. Robin and Mighty Max moving in from long, going to try and wrap around against them. The smokes, of course, keep them suppressed for the moment. The smoke's about to clear, though. Face Crack bursting up, trying to do damage, and Robin takes him down. Power still on the back of the bomb site. Only good for 1 kill. They've still got Flip there, and Thomas overwhelms. 2 players left for forZe, and I have a feeling that they are about to concede this matchup to Endpoint. 3-on-2 on the map point round on forZe's map pick. This retake just got dicey.
Almaze has got to do so much work. The NWP not quite going to connect, and that could be the opportunity back into the round, into the 2 versus 2. Thomas is able to take Jerry, and they know where Almaze is. He needs to get a move on. He needs to isolate some of these kills. And for Endpoint, they're just not peeking. Thomas is not peeking. Robin's not showing any information. They are trying to stay as hidden as possible for as long as possible. And there it is, 19-16. Endpoint have snatched the map away from forZe on Inferno.